We're staffed with experienced funeral planners who know and understand the different methods of pre-funding final arrangements. We can help you design a plan that fits your individual needs and suits your wishes and beliefs. Morgan's Funeral Home, serving families for over 100 years.
Social Security provides a death benefit of $255, but the average funeral can cost $10,000 or more. Something isn't adding up. A Modern Woodman representative can help make sure you have enough life insurance to fit your needs and budget. Modern Woodman can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement.
I'm Josh Cook, a lifetime resident of Caldwell County. Call me at 270-350-6590 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
When it's time to buy or sell a home, you need an agent that you can trust, one that will meet your needs and get you a great price. Hi, I'm Brandon Warfield, a licensed real estate agent with the Vince Carter team. I service customers in many surrounding counties, but Caldwell County is my home, and I'd like the opportunity to earn your trust as your local agent. So are you ready to start your search for that new home, or how fast do you need to sell your current home? Call me, Brandon Warfield, at 270-963-1225.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Well, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. That's what it is today, with a high near 87. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 65. Tomorrow, sunshine once again. High of 88. And we're going to kick off the weekend on Saturday with more sunshine and a high near 93. Now, your WPKY Weather Edge Futurecast showing our next shot at showers coming on Sunday night with highs in the lower 90s all weekend. 70 at 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Wallace Towing.
Caldwell Medical Center wants everyone to have access to a happier, healthier life. That's why we're here for you 24/7 when it matters the most. Visit our website, caldwellmedical.com. Learn more about our services or follow us on Facebook.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff McDaniels with Farmers Bank, your home for the Tiger debit card. Our team wants to wish both the Lady Tigers and Tigers good luck this fall sports season. So help us support Caldwell's future athletes by getting your Tiger card today. Only at Farmers Bank and Trust Company, member FDIC.
Your Sports Edge report starts now with a look at Caldwell County sports. Here's Todd Griffin.
The Caldwell County Lady Tigers soccer team plays at home for the first time today when it hosts Owensboro Apollo at Butler Stadium. Something has to give in the all-time series between the two schools. Caldwell won 2-1 in Owensboro last year, leaving the series dead even at 4-4-1. The Lady Tigers are 1-0 this season after winning 6-1 at Webster County in the season opener on Monday. Meanwhile, the Lady E-Gals of Apollo are 0-1 after losing to Owensboro Catholic 10-0 Tuesday night. Varsity action begins at 7 o'clock tonight at Butler Stadium. Again, the Lady Tigers host Owensboro Apollo. The Lady Tigers game today is not on the WPKY broadcast schedule. However, we will start carrying Caldwell soccer games next Tuesday when Caldwell's boys host Grayson County. Each Tuesday will be Soccer Tuesday here at 1580, 103.3, and WPKYonline.com, so you can tune in every Tuesday for Caldwell soccer. Meanwhile, starting September 5th, each Thursday will be Volleyball Thursday on WPKY. The Lady Tigers will host Hopkins County Central that day, September 5th. That will begin a stretch of 6 straight home dates on Thursdays, and you can hear all of those right here on WPKY. And of course, starting Friday, August 23rd, it's Football Friday as the Tigers host Christian County at Tiger Stadium. So that's Caldwell Soccer on Tuesdays, Caldwell Volleyball on Thursdays, and Caldwell Football on Fridays throughout the upcoming season, right here on 1580, 103.3, and WPKYonline.com. The Caldwell County Middle School football team is headed to Hoptown tonight to face Hopkinsville Middle School. The CCMS Tigers swept 7th and 8th grade games from Union County last Thursday at Tiger Stadium. This week's date is scheduled to be 8th grade only. Game time is set for 6 o'clock, and the contest will be played at the Stadium of Champions in Hopkinsville. The CCMS football squads will both be in action again on Tuesday when they host Marshall County out at Tiger Stadium. This is Todd Griffin with your WPKY Sports Edge report for Thursday. For even more sports, go online to yoursportsedge.com. Click on the Caldwell County page, and you can check out game recaps, photo galleries, and interviews, all from Caldwell County. It's available right now at yoursportsedge.com.
The Christian County Colonels open their boys soccer season tonight at the Stadium of Champions. They'll take on Trigg County, a team that's off to a 2-0 start. And for the first time in program history, they've opened up with 2 straight shutouts. Contest gets underway at 7 o'clock. Lyon County will hit the road as they play at Hopkins County Central. Hopkinsville also on the road, trying to bounce back from a loss to South Warren on Tuesday. They'll be at Murray. And University Heights Academy, 10-0 winners in the first game for head coach Frankie Thomas. They'll be on the road. They'll try and find Hartford to take on Ohio County. Meanwhile, on the girls' soccer schedule for tonight, Caldwell County will entertain Apollo. Hopkins County Central is at Fort Campbell. Christian County opens their season. They got a tough one. They take on Madisonville. Owensboro will visit Lee Jones Park to take on Lyon County tonight. Paducah-Tillman will host Hopkinsville. Paducah-Tillman a 3-2 winner over Trigg County Tuesday. Speaking of the Lady Wildcats, they're on the road. They're at Todd County Central. Todd County Central dropped their season opener to Fort Campbell, so one of those teams will get their first win of the year unless the game ends in a tie. And University Heights Academy looks to bounce back from an opening game loss to Callaway County. They'll take on another First Region school. They'll be on the road in Paducah to take on McCracken County. Of course, your place for recaps, photos, and video of all that's going on in high school sports can be found at yoursportsedge.com. I'm Scott Brown reporting.
There's an advantage in being the home team. You know who Emma Talley, Jake Lewis, and Pat Gates are. You've seen the wall around Butler Stadium and have heard of the Caldwell Crazies. Trice Hughes, we're your home team. Here's our home team deal of the week.
A brand new 2018 Dodge Journey SXT. Window sticker is $30,330. This vehicle is Trice priced at $24,121.
Get this home team deal of the week at Trice Hughes. Find us on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or TriceHughes.com.
If you're looking for unique and colorful women's clothing and jewelry for all ages, you'll love the Joshua Tree Boutique on the Court Square in Princeton. Rhonda Stone, the owner, loves choosing beautiful, unique, and colorful clothing for her shop. So head on in and see a sneak peek of what's new this year. And while you're there, take advantage of some sale racks. You'll love the savings and the fashions at the Joshua Tree. Be sure to like them on Facebook for updates and photos of fashions at the Joshua Tree Boutique at 110 East Court Square in Princeton.
Legendary rock band Jefferson Starship is coming to Bowling Green on Thursday, August 29th. There's a limited supply of tickets available. Buy now by clicking on Loyal Listener Big Deals at WPKYOnline.com.
You can agree or disagree with UK's decision to not sell alcohol at football games this season, but this fall at least one UK opponent will make drink sales part of their game day experience. Vanderbilt. Unlike UK, who says alcohol sales detract from the game day experience, unless, of course, you're in a premium seating area, i.e. big money donors, Vandy is embracing the concept. The university actually said, quote, "This game day initiative enhances our fans' experience," end quote. And in addition, university officials say it will provide additional resources for the school's athletic program. And you don't have to be a big money donor in a private seating area. Imagine that. The Cats play Vandy in Nashville, November 16th. Speaking of Nashville, how does the name Nashville Orioles sound? The Baltimore Post-Examiner reported a story on Monday that the home baseball team could be moving and cited what they called reliable sources the team could be sold and moved to Nashville. Now, the Baltimore Orioles aren't talking, but here are some facts. The Orioles have seen diminished performance and diminished attendance the last few years, and their contract to play in Camden Yards expires in 2021. Meanwhile, Nashville businessman John Lohr is working to bring a Major League Baseball team to town, and Commissioner Rob Manfred has already mentioned Music City as a potential fit for an expansion team. Keep your popcorn and Cracker Jack handy. Wednesday baseball, Cardinals shut out the Royals 6-0. Phillies blasted the Cubs 11-1. Once again, the Cards and Cubs are tied atop the NL Central. With the ultimate football score, the Nationals beat the Reds 17-7. Braves over the Mets 16-4. That's it for your Thursday. Join your fellow UK fans on Facebook in Wildcat Lair. I'm Eddie Owen.
Hello, this is Gloria Smith with the Law Office of Jeff Russo. Are you buying or selling real estate? Are you planning on refinancing your existing home loan? If so, you should be aware that you have your choice in which attorney provides the legal services associated with such transactions. Our law office has over 50 years of experience in real estate law. We pride ourselves on being cost-effective and having a quick turnaround time. If you're in need of such services, call us today at 365-2763 or find us on the web at www.jeffrussolaw.com. We are located in downtown Princeton on the east side of the courthouse.
This is an advertisement.
Henner Ryle Home Medical is the only company located in Western Kentucky that stocks all your home medical equipment. Power wheelchairs, beds, oxygen, braces, diabetic shoes, CPAP, stair lifts, ramps, vehicle lifts, walk-in tubs, and thousands of other items, all at prices that beat the internet and other stores. If your doctor or hospital prescribes equipment, tell them you choose Henner Ryle Home Medical. Local quality service for over 35 years. Call 1-800-445-8002.
My teenage son only has one brain, and it will keep developing through his mid-20s. But if he uses e-cigarettes, the nicotine in them can impact attention, learning, memory, and can prime the brain for addiction. So I've talked to him about staying away from e-cigarettes because my son only has one brain.
Learn more at cdc.gov/e-cigarettes. A message from the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. Find out more at your Penny Ryle District Health Department.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Cozy Living Interiors.
You've been listening to your WPKY News Edge. Find news 24 hours a day at WPKYonline.com.
1580 103.3 WPKY Princeton. Good morning, Tess and Ty, and 7:58. And of course, the Sideline Report will be on here in just a moment with Todd Griffin. Ty Englebright, Tess and Ty's Ty Englebright will be featured on Sideline Report.
No, not featured. I'm just kind of
sitting
in.
Hey, you're going to be here, though.
Yeah.
You're going to hang out. Hey, there's some people coming in that I'm excited to see. Of course, Larry Curling is here, and he has some company out there as well.
Yeah, Coach Pat Gates is here.
How about that?
Yeah, we're going to unveil, those guys are going to probably unveil the 2019 Caldwell County Hall of Fame class.
How about legends themselves for Caldwell County football?
Yeah.
I love that.
That's going to go down today, among other things. No telling what will come up.
Hey, I got my blue and gold on today.
No, we'll be talking some football. I'm sure
That's
that.
my favorite thing ever. I love it because it's like football's everywhere now.
Well, you got. I about got all choked up here. There's
I'll get you some tissues. I get pretty choked up about it too.
Two classic Caldwell County coaches out there. So
you could almost shed a tear over that, couldn't you?
Hey, it's just good stuff. I think my coffee went down the wrong way.
I got the Goosies.
It'll give you the Goosies.
I will the Goosies. Don't you know what the Goosies are? The little goosey bumps.
I know what they are. Every time I hear a good song, I get the Goosies. Every time I see a great sports play, I get the Goosies.
Well, I mean, it'll do that to you.
And sometimes when you see the right person, you get the
Goosies.
You
get the Goosies, don't you? In more ways than one. I love it. Hey, you see a cowpoker at a rodeo, you get the Goosies.
I'm leaving that one to you, Goosey.
Hey, that's coming up this weekend, too, by the way.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Oh, well, you never know. We got this cowpoker, and it's if you do it just right, it gives you a little jolt.
I'm so glad it's 8 o'clock.
Are you? Yes. In other words, he's ready to get rid of me. That's what it is. Hey.
WPKY Princeton.
Stick around. We've got your community calendar coming up next on Tess and Ty. 8 o'clock. Good morning.
Serving Caldwell County since 1950. We're 1580, 103.3 WPKY Princeton.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. A standoff during drug arrest in Philadelphia ends with 6 police officers shot, none fatally, and the suspects surrendering. Philadelphia Police Commissioner Richard Ross says about the officers involved.
Think about it. You've got all those people, all those folks who were inside trap. Not one of them was injured. Nobody died, including the suspect. I mean, that in and of itself speaks volumes to their dedication, their patience, their tenacity, and everything else.
The standoff lasted more than 7 hours. China's ambassador to the UK says his government will not sit on its hands if a situation with protests over Chinese rule gets worse in Hong Kong.
It's become very clear that these protests are not going to end, either until the protesters have their demands met or until they are somehow stopped. And now we're hearing that clashes are expected to continue through the weekend, leading up to a 1 million-person march on Sunday.
Fox's Benjamin Hall. This is Fox News.
W277CK Princeton. Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Couldn't have ordered a better forecast for today. Sunshine, a high near 87 with clear skies overnight tonight, a low down to 65. More good weather tomorrow, partly sunny, a high 88, and a little warm-up coming for Saturday and the weekend. Mostly sunny, however, a high 93, but the WPKY Weather Edge Futurecast says a shot of rain coming in Sunday night. And you can see highs in the lower 90s over the weekend as well. But again, for today, sunshine, a high near 87. Currently, it's 73 at WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Fredonia Valley Bank. Time to take a look at community news here on 1580 103.3 WPKY. This morning's community news is brought to you by Community Medical Clinic.
Well, get registered now for the Black Patch 2019 Festival. Now, several options are available for booth space, like the first-time vendors, farmers market, yard sale alley, food booths, and more. Now, all spaces are going to be 10 by 10, and multiple joining spaces are available as well. Now, application and payment deadline is August 23rd. For more information on how to get registered or pricing and availability, you can give them a call at 270-625-6427 or at 270-206-8635.
Hey, get the camera out or find those great photos. The Caldwell County Democratic Women's Club will be offering the 34th annual Cutest Baby Contest for children 2 and under for residents and non-residents of Caldwell County. Parents or grandparents should take a 5x7 color or black and white photo to Carol at the Woodall Agency on West Washington Street in Princeton. $20 per photo per child with a photo entry deadline of August 30th. Winner to be announced on September 2nd will receive a trophy. For more information, call Carol, 270-625-2185.
Well, the softball league, the Princeton Co-ed Softball League, they're looking for one more church team to play in the church league. Now, that'll start every Thursday night. Tonight is the deadline. So if you have a church or a organization in church that would like to play, maybe your Sunday school class would like to play on the Co-ed Softball League, that'll be every Thursday. The deadline for entry is today, August 15th. For more information on how your church can enter, you can give Brandon a call at 270-871-2569.
All right, there's still a few days left to sign up for first and second graders for the Flag Football League. Sign-ups will close this Friday. That is tomorrow. Forms are at several area locations, including here at the WPKY studios in Princeton. Make sure you look in your child's backpack also for forums after school as well. Volunteer coaches are also needed. For more information, call 270-963-1577.
Well, you can grab the lawn chairs. The Edible 2019 Founders Day celebration is just around the corner. Now, kickoff for the festivities begins August 17th with the Miss Founders Day pageant and continues with tons of fun activities for the whole family throughout the week. Don't miss the annual Founders Day parade when it hits the streets on Saturday at 11 a.m. in downtown Edible.
All right, and Tuesday, 6:30, the UK College of Agriculture Food and Environment Cooperative Extension Service invites everyone to take a Twite Flight tour on Tuesday, August 20th at 6:30. That's the home of the Patrick and Jenny Clark Farms out on 62 West in Princeton. Guest speaker Daniel Becker, a light meal served by Joni Phelps, and in-depth conservation, talking about all kinds of good stuff involving high tunnels, irrigation, and other topics as well. You don't want to miss it. For more information, you can register. Call Shane Bogle at the Caldwell County Extension Office, 270-365-2787.
Get spruced up with quality mulch from Bashir Sawmill on Dawson Road in Princeton. We all know that buying mulch by the truckload saves money, and it's only $25 per load for dark natural mulch at Bashir Sawmill on Dawson Road, 1/2 mile past City County Park. Bashir Sawmill also buys standing timber and timberland. Give them a call today, 270-365-2330. That's Bashir Sawmill, family owned and operated in Princeton for over 50 years.
It's time to stop smoking once and for all by attending the next Mark Patrick Hypnosis Seminar in Hopkinsville. In just 2 hours, you can finally become a lifelong non-smoker. Regardless of your past experience or how long you've been smoking, this program is designed so you can stop smoking without anxiety, irritability, or gaining any weight. For only $49.99, you can become a non-smoker through hypnosis. Thursday, September 12th at the Holiday Inn Hotel, 2910 Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville from 8 to 10 p.m. Registration starts at 7:30. Seating is limited, so get there early to reserve your spot. All forms of payment are accepted, or for more information, go to markpatrickseminars.com. Over 500,000 have attended their program. Try it. It can work for you. Almost everyone knows someone who has stopped smoking using hypnosis. Now that someone can be you. Attend the Mark Patrick Seminar Thursday, September 12th at the Holiday Inn Hotel, 2910 Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville, and use the power of hypnosis to stop smoking now.
It's not too late yet to get your tickets for the must-attend event of the summer. Margaret Saturday joined Casey Jones Distillery and the Pennyroyal Arts Council as we celebrate Woodstock's 50th anniversary with the Lights Out Festival featuring the Woodstock Rock Orchestra this Saturday, August 17th.
Hopkinsville's own Mark Jones, Chip Graham, and Alonzo Pennington, along with 12 seasoned musicians, will take you on a musical journey through the performances of songs played at the festival by groups like
The Who, Sly and the Family Stone, Joe Cocker, Janis Joplin, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Santana, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and many others.
Advance tickets are $25 online at pennyroyalarts.org and CaseyJonesDistillery.com, at the Alhambra Theater box office and Casey Jones Distillery, or $30 at the gate.
The gates will open at 10, food trucks serving all day, warm-up music starts at 2:30, and the concert starts at 7.
Special thanks to Budweiser of Hopkinsville as our lead sponsor. Get your tickets today for the Lights Out Festival coming this Saturday, August 17th.
This is Jerry Gillum of AgWest Financial. I'm excited to introduce Agrichem as our new retail partner in the region. AgWest and Agrichem share the same philosophy, working together for your success. And with our new partnership, Agrichem goes beyond seed, fertility, and crop protection products with the addition of AgWest loan products, including secured and unsecured lines of credit, leasing options, and real estate, facility, and equipment loans. Call me, Jerry Gillum, at the Agrichem office in Hopkinsville for more information.
It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYonline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
Good morning, everyone. The Sideline Report is on the air from 1035 West Main Street in Princeton. A beautiful day in Princeton, and girls soccer at home tonight against Owensboro Apollo. It'll be a nice night to go out to the soccer stadium and watch soccer up at Butler. So, Sideline Report on the show, and going to talk some football today as we're lined up. Ty Englebright, pulling overtime duty today, is still with us. And Ty, we got a full house again.
Hey, it's great to see the classic coaches in the house, and I'm just glad to be here. Won't be adding too much to the show, but thanks for inviting me.
Did you bring your top 5 back this week?
I did.
All right, we might get to that later.
Okay.
First of all, joining us, former Tiger head coach, and according to the Tri-Fuse ad, everybody knows this guy. It's Pat Gates.
Ooh.
So congratulations on everything you've done in your career and making the Tri-Fuse ad, and welcome to the show.
I appreciate that, Todd. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Also here is Larry Curling, and Larry, we won't ask you anything about tax rates today.
Good deal. Good
deal. I don't know. Ty might. Ty's kind of that.
I just want to talk some ball today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for, talk football.
And another former Tiger coach, Will Brown, is with us. Will, thanks for coming in. And, man, you've got the fields at Butler and Tiger Stadium looking awesome.
It's good for the kids. It's good surface to play on and safe, so that's our goal. So I got a good team.
Yeah, it looks sweet, whatever you're doing to it, man. You know, the fields look almost so great that you almost hate to walk out there and play on them. You know, it's kind of like when the golf course looks great, you're like, I don't want to mess it up.
Well, I'm lucky. I got a lot of good people to help me. That's the key.
So we got Pat Gates, Larry Curling, Will Brown is here, Ty Englebright is here as well. We've got to get to a break, but we'll talk lots of football when we come back. You're listening to the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
I got mine at Audubell.
I got mine at Audubell.
I got mine at Audubell.
I got my hearing aids at Audubell.
As a psychiatrist, I have to listen to my patients very well. And Audubell gave me my ears back.
And they've really changed my life.
I've been wearing hearing aids for 50 years, and Audubell is by far the best hearing aid.
I'm Donnie Baker, helping you hear well at Audubell.
Call Audubell for your free hearing test, 554-1900.
Social Security provides a death benefit of $255, but the average funeral can cost $10,000 or more. Something isn't adding up. A Modern Woodman representative can help make sure you have enough life insurance to fit your needs and budget. Modern Woodman can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement.
I'm Josh Cook, a lifetime resident of Caldwell County. Call me at 270-350-6590 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Ah, it's summertime and the air conditioner is running non-stop. Hard to believe in a few short months it'll be time to turn on the heat. Fortner Gas is offering a great summer special right now. That means the lowest priced propane of the year. Now is the time to take advantage and get propane tanks filled at the lowest price of the year. Customers can also pre-buy for winter at a locked-in rate. Call Fortner Gas in Princeton today.
Treasures Remembered Florist and Greenhouse, serving families in good times and bad times. They offer fresh bouquets and sympathy arrangements, custom wreaths and silk arrangements. They have a wonderful selection of gifts, sympathy items, unique wall art, frames and framed prints, birdhouses, candles, wind chimes, and more. Open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and Saturday, 8:30 to noon. Treasures Remembered Florist and Greenhouse, 600 West Locust Street, Princeton, serving Princeton and Caldwell County for over 100 years.
We are back on the Sideline Report. It's Thursday morning, and again, a full house in the WPKY studios. Former Caldwell County football coaches Pat Gates, Larry Curling, and Will Brown with us. Ty Englebright is here as well. Guys, first of all, how much do you guys miss coaching football? I mean, come on, be honest with me. You guys wish you were out there right now getting ready, don't you?
That's a tough one. No. Todd, I tell you, I miss Friday nights sometimes. That's. But behind the scenes and all, all the extra work that you have to put in and all, it's a young man's game now. And we had our time back in the day, and we had a good time together, and a bunch of great kids to work with, and just blessed by the opportunity that we had here in Caldwell County.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many kids came through the program, but, I mean, wow, as long as you were there.
We was here for a while. I guess I was here as head coach 19 years, and of course I was out one season and came back after Coach Hatchell left in the middle of the summer and coached 1 year, and then I knew I needed to stay retired after that. But it was a good career, and I'm just so thankful the coaches that were able to help me. And of course DT was supposed to be here this morning. We're minus him. He's out working, and of course, he's still hard at it, and he's got to, seal some lots today. So we're sorry that he wasn't able to make it this morning. But I've been very, very blessed and to have a great staff and great kids to work with.
And, of course, the 1998 state championship, foremost in a lot of that. And I think you're one of the few coaches in the state that's actually won a state championship at two different schools.
Well, I'm sure there's others out. I know Joe Kelly Jaggers. Yeah. He's been at a couple schools, Fort Knox, Trigg County, and but I've been blessed. I really have, and fortunate. And I've always said I'd rather be lucky than good. Yeah. And you got to have a lot of luck that goes in it. People just don't understand how hard it is to win a state championship, and a lot of things have to fall into place, and a lot of times you don't win one with what you consider one of your better teams. And, I think in 1996, and I think Larry and Will both vouched for this, we felt like we had probably one of our better football teams here in Caldwell County, and we get put out the second round of the playoffs, and that was pretty discouraging, but, we were able to survive and keep plugging at it. And, of of course, 98 comes around, and everything seemed to fall into place, and we were very fortunate again.
Larry, you coached the defense on a lot of those. What do you remember about the state championship run?
Well, they were hard to stop, for one thing. They had, and we kind of played them differently. They ran a 3-back set, which is something you don't ever see anymore. It's a spread offense, and we kind of stacked. I think we had, 9 in the box, Will?
Yes, sir.
2 safeties, and we just keyed on, what was that good running back's name?
Brett.
We kind of keyed on him, but the thing about it, they had 2 other good running backs. And and everything, I watched so many film, and everything you seen, they were running in between tackles. And they never gained anything in between tackles on us. You remember all 4 touchdowns were outside the end, so that was all my fault there.
No, it wasn't.
And I enjoyed coaching these guys. I started in '78 with Chick Walker and Kenny Bowes at the middle school level. And after that, I kept coaching, and Pat came along. What year did you come along, Pat?
86.
86. And it was a blessing to work with him and DT, and I had the opportunity to work with Coach G, Charlie Davis, Earl Stevens. Richie. He was great, and they were just great people. And, of course, Willie over here. He was always good. So.
I got to play for Coach Curlin, though, so I got the double dip of the blessings there.
He was
he was my freshman coach, so here we go.
He was a good player, too. Good leader.
Here we go.
He had that perfect stance.
Here we go.
His back was just so flat. You could set a glass of water on his back.
He
it
always
wouldn't
makes
spill.
fun of me.
They always talk about Brown being on the ground.
He always makes fun of me. See, that's all he ever does.
Will was a good
lap.
See, that hurts my take another lap. Yeah. Well, Coach used to tell me, you got to take another lap. You're too fat.
We did a lot of running back in those days, basically because everybody went both ways.
Yeah.
They did. It just it's a different game now. You know, now with open offense, they're running so many plays. It's hard to go both ways. It really is.
I just remember Will telling me that he was going to beat me up if I put his picture in the paper again.
That was always my thing. I talked to Todd all day long, but by gosh, I didn't want my picture in the paper. I didn't want to hurt the distribution, actually, is what it was. I was trying to save him. I was trying to save his job at that point. So, no, I just, like I said, I missed being around the kids. That's the funnest thing, the camaraderie with your team, the time, you spend so much time with them. On the field and off the field, and the friendships that I have still to this day. I was out directing traffic this morning. Kent Wells has come back to us to Caldwell, and he yells at me, and I get to see him this morning. And that's the best thing is the friendships made. These guys are some of my dearest friends, and I, between him and he read Coach Curlin just talked about all those great coaches and getting to know those men like these and work with them and spend so many hours with them. I mean, a lot of times it wasn't work. It was fun, and you look forward to being there with these guys. You look forward to being there with those players, and that's what I miss as much as anything is just the camaraderie and almost the brotherhood that you have there. And I miss that. I do miss that.
You do form that lifelong bond with them. I go to these activities like Dotson Park last week. You see your old football players and students, and, you just have that lifelong bond with them.
We were talking about that at Dotson Days. They brought the Harris brothers up there. We were naming all of them, and I remember you and I had a conversation when I first moved here in 1980. I went out for the middle school team. Coach Sykes was the head coach, and I forget what it was. I was one day out there, and Calvin Harris came through there. And I mean, clocked me, and I was done. I went to Reed Franklin the next day and said, I want to play football.
Calvin was a big guy.
I was done.
And I think we had every Harris kid. Can you name them all?
Oh,
Jerome,
Carl,
Eric, Elliott,
Raymond,
yeah. Keith.
Raymond was our all-time manager. I'm going to tell you, I don't think we had a manager who could throw the ball as far as Raymond could.
Or run like he could.
Or take an ankle like he could.
Oh, my goodness.
I remember him, was it Jerome's ankle?
Yeah,
it was Jerome's ankle that he sprang at one time.
And that's what's great about you guys also is that you're sitting around a campfire or wherever you are, here come the stories. And that's what's so fantastic about the coaching community and the coaching fellowship is it's just the stories you all have about those times and those players and those memories. It's just awesome.
Well, we've promised everybody the 2019 Caldwell County Football Hall of Fame class. Gates, do you want to do the honors?
Go right ahead. You got the list right there.
I've got it right here.
We got a good class, and we've got several more in the makings. It's going to be.
Yeah, we've got a good class for next year.
Yeah.
This year's class is going to be Cameron Williams, Will Barnes, Bob Hudson, Chad Lane, Mark Knipe, and Gary Goodacre. Gary's been keeping stats for 21 years now. I don't think he's missed a game since about 1997. And, of course, I think there's 3 quarterbacks in that group and some linemen, so a pretty good group.
It is, and, a lot of times linemen get left behind. They don't have the stats to justify in a lot of people's minds of being in. But the last 3 years, I guess, we've put some real quality offensive and defensive linemen in. And, of course, that's what all 3 of us worked with, Will and Larry and myself. We all worked with the line, and we were fortunate enough, again, to Coach Bob and Chad Lane both. Chad was in one of my first classes here, and of course he was a 3-year starter for us, and he went on to Campbellsville University and played college football there, and now he moved back home and he's in our school district here, and he's a great addition to our class, as well as Bob Hudson. I sent Bob a text, I guess Tuesday, and just to tell him that he was selected, and he said he was going to tune in this morning.
Yeah.
He's out in Utah, so we want to congratulate Bob. Bob was an outstanding offensive lineman for us, and really worked hard at it. Went to Murray State and played a couple seasons there, and we're off. And he was in last summer, I guess it was. They had their class reunion, and it's always good to see Bob, and he was a great team player.
Bob's senior season, I believe, was 1997, and all those 1997 guys swear up and down they were better than the 98 team.
You talk about the 97.
They were pretty good, but majority of them were juniors that year. But we should have went to the finals that year too. We just had a block punt. They kind of
talking about another disappointing loss. 96, 97, 98. We had three really good football teams in a row, and Owensboro Catholic, we led the entire ball game, I guess, and up until the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, and unfortunately we had a block punt, and they recovered and took it in.
And interception.
And but again, it was a outstanding effort by our kids' part. They never quit, and that's one thing I feel like, that I've always been an honor to me, is to watch the way our kids play. I don't think that we ever lost a game because we were out of shape. I think we were always in good physical condition, and we took a lot of pride in conditioning our players, and we played hard until the end, and a lot of times it didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but they seemed to pick themselves up. Kids bounce back a lot quicker than adults do, and very honored again to been able to coach these young men.
Well, and one thing you always did, it seemed like you always tried to figure out what best fit your team. I think you were a master of a bunch of systems.
Well, I was a master of none. Really, I wasn't an expert on any one type of offense. I just felt like, I had to dictate our style of play with the type of talent we had. We've run all different aspects of offense. We've run the wishbone, we've run the spread, we've run the eye. I guess I grew up in the pro set area, of course, with Fred Clayton being my coach in high school, and Coach Fikes at Western. We were kind of in the pro set area, and I ran that for numerous years, but we ran power eye, and we ran some wishbone. And
where'd you get the pyramid from?
The pyramid. Well, we come on, I stole all kinds of ideas from people. We did come with the pyramid.
Yeah.
I guess, was it 99? I don't guess the year after we won the state. I think we changed offenses about every week, trying to find something that we could be successful.
You ever tried the trapezoid?
We
had the pyramid.
We had the pyramid.
Yeah.
What was the pyramid?
That's great.
We had the 2 backs over here behind the line, and Kelly Tinsley in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And we always, try to come up with a trick here or there, or a little gimmick. And
well, Kelly Tinsley running the football was.
That was out of the pyramid.
He's kind of the fridge element, wasn't he?
Him and Marcus in Hollowell in the backfield, and we just gave it to him and tried to do the best we could with what we had.
Kelly was such an athlete, too.
Yeah.
I mean, for his size, you wouldn't think it. He was an incredible athlete.
Yeah,
Kelly
quick, wasn't he?
Strong.
Yeah.
And
Quick
same
and
thing
strong.
on defense, Todd. We did. Larry and Richie and all the defensive coordinators. They always dictated the type of defense. We wasn't really stuck. I guess the wide tackle 6 is what we started
For a
with
long time.
For a long time when we came here. Of course, that's what University of Kentucky ran back years ago in the Jerry Claiborne era, and we ran it. But we were very successful in the 5-3.
5-3.
And 5-3, and we've run some 4-4. We've run a little bit of everything.
I remember you guys pulling out the polecat a couple of times. Definitely down at Mayfield.
He's got a wicked memory now. I'm telling you, Todd's got a wicked memory.
And the claw pass special.
Claw pass special?
Yeah, we had the claw pass special.
Trips right, 2-point play right.
Won a game on that against
Yeah.
Owensboro Catholic
Oh, really?
up here in the playoffs.
And then trips right, 2-point play right.
Yeah, trips right, 2-point. Yeah,
So you got
we could draw them up in the dirt, and DT was one of the best at doing it. And
absolutely.
I'm telling you, Fred Clayton, of course, Coach Clayton, when I was at Christian County, his assistants did a lot of the coaching back then, and Fred. But come Friday night, Fred Clayton was in charge on the sideline, and I can remember numerous times back in my senior year that he would be drawing them up in the dirt. We never even worked on the play, but. He had the knack for doing that, and DT could do the same thing. I mean, he is so intelligent about drawing a play up on the spur of the moment that would work against the defense, and our kids we were blessed for them to be smart enough to adapt to that.
Well, you played for Fred Clayton over at Christian County, but of course, I think everything in Caldwell County football goes back to either Fred Clayton or Coach G.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody. They had some kind of impact on Caldwell County football one way or another.
They did, and of course they're legends in their own. And I tell you, it's just an honor to. I never got to play under Coach G. Of course, I taught with him for years out there at the high school, and you can't find any better person. And Coach Clayton the same way. Of course, Craig is still coaching. I told Craig we played in the golf tournament a few weeks ago up here in the 4-man, and. It was Curtis Higgins, Al Starnes, myself, and Craig Clayton. And, I said there's 3 retired coaches and then one that should be. Craig. But he was the oldest of all of us, and he's still at it, and he loves it. And, Craig hadn't changed a whole lot. He's still young at heart, and, he's getting close to 70 years old, but he sure doesn't look it and doesn't feel it for sure, and I hope he continues to coaching as long as he enjoys it.
Yeah, and I think he's got a pretty good team coming up over at Hoptown this
year. He
does.
I went over last Saturday night and watched some of the jamboree they had over there with Christian County and Hoptown against Logan and Bowling Green High, and took Tate Van Hooser with me, my next-door neighbor there, and we sit out there and watched them, and They bellied up to Bowling Green, and I think it was 2-1, and they got a pretty good football team over there. Christian County may be down a little bit, but they still got some great athletes there, and always will have. But I think that's a team that we'll match up well with.
Going back to the Hall of Fame guys, I remember all those guys playing. Cameron Williams was a kid that did a lot for you.
He did.
But a kid that probably could have played anywhere. Quarterback, receiver, you could have put him any place. And
Cameron was a type of athlete that, and very unselfish. Very unselfish player. And I mean, he played wherever you wanted him to. He ran back kicks, as you mentioned. He quarterback, receiver, defense. He never came off the field. And the year I came back in 2005, he was our quarterback. And he led us to some really good wins that year after coming off of somewhat a disappointing season the year before, and just a great leader on the field, very intelligent young man, and glad that he's moved back here to the community. I know his mom and dad are tickled to have him back here, and I think he bought Chip's house, didn't he? Chip Hutchison's house, so we're tickled to have Cameron back in this area, and you mentioned Will Barnes followed him. He came to the very next year with David, and just an outstanding young man and quarterback that I guess he still has several records in the passing department here. And
well, he had everything until some guy named Sindelar came along.
How unfortunate was that for him? And, no, he did. He had a great career here at Caldwell County. Of course, he went on and played college football for 4 years, and has been in the coaching profession now, following in the footsteps of his dad. And, of course, we're glad to have him here in Caldwell County. This is, his third or fourth year back?
Oh, I can't remember, but, yeah, he's running the offense. And I always joke with David that Will knows the system offense better than he does.
Well, I'll tell you, he knows it. And, of course, he's gone most of the summer. I think he still helps Tony Franklin with all of his passing camps. And, he's just been a great addition here. And I know he coached at Glasgow for several years up there. And a good friend of mine, Jeff Garman, is his head coach. And I know how sad he was to lose him. But we're glad to have him back here in Caldwell County.
We mentioned Bob Hudson, Chad Lane, another lineman that played for a long time and went to college and played several years. Was Mark Knipe one of your quarterbacks?
Mark Knipe was, and Mark moved in here when the
about 89.
Was it 80?
88, 89, somewhere around that time.
Yeah, and another feisty competitor. I mean, he was another kid that never come off the field.
Gritty.
And he was our quarterback and safety on defense, and I know DT loved him as a quarterback and a leader out there, and he took our team and led us to some great wins again, and a very deserving player, I think. And I don't know where Mark's living at now, Todd.
He's been in the Louisville area, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's where.
Of course, his mom and dad are still here.
Yeah, and his sister.
And his sister are still here in the area, and. We hope that all these young men will make it in for the induction ceremony, which is going to be, did you tell them when? It's going to be October the 4th, I believe.
Yes, that's the Mayfield game.
The Mayfield game. What a game to induct our new class. Well, again, very deserving, and, of course, we could have put a bunch more. I mean, there's so many out there that's so deserving, and they'll get their opportunity. And again, just speaking from a personal standpoint of it means a lot more to you the older you get, I think, than if you're younger and when you get inducted into a Hall of Fame. I tell you, it means a lot more to you, and I know it means a lot more to me when I have a class reunion now, and I'm fixing to come up on class number 45 here next year, and just to see your old classmates, and we're not getting any younger, so, we have to cherish these moments.
On the show this morning, we got Pat Gates, Larry Curling, Will Brown, Ty Englebright is here with us. Again, the Hall of Fame inductees for this year, Cameron Williams, Will Barnes, Bob Hudson, Chad Lane, Mark Knipe, and Gary Goodacre. Going to take a break on the Sideline Report, but we'll come back with more right after this on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast calling for sunshine today with a high near 87. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 65. Now tomorrow, partly sunny, high near 88. And then on Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 93. Again, sunshine today with a high near 87.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Farless Realty.
Need cash fast? Get the money you need. Call ABC Finance now.
Whether it's their first day at kindergarten or the first day as a senior in high school, you want your kids to have everything they need.
Don't let money worries stop you. Visit ABC Finance.
Hi, this is Jody Lamb at the Princeton ABC Finance location.
And this is Todd Morris at the Hopkinsville location.
And we can help you with all the things your child will need for school.
At ABC Finance, we provide loans up to $15,000.
We are locally owned and staffed, and decisions are made quickly, usually within an hour.
No appointment is needed. Walk-ins are welcome.
You can even give us a call, and we will take your application over the phone.
Or you can apply online at abcfinanceonline.com.
And like us on Facebook.
ABC Finance in Hopkinsville on Fort Campbell Boulevard next to O'Charlie's, and in Princeton Plaza. ABC Finance. All loans subject to normal credit approval.
We are back on the Sideline Report on a Thursday morning at 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Want to tell you about Dave's Deal of the Week at U-Ride in Princeton. It's a 2007 Jeep Commander, white 4x4. See Dave for details at U-Ride in Princeton. That's U-Ride 310 Marion Road, Princeton. Telephone 270-365-3215. Be sure and ask about Dave's Deal of the Week. We are back on the Sideline Report. Want to say something about the middle school football team is going to Hopkinsville tonight. Schedule showed that as 8th grade only, but it will be 7th and 8th grade over at Hoptown tonight starting at 5:30. So both teams in action, and Ty, both teams got wins last week against Union County.
Yeah, great start, and tonight they get to play under the big lights at Stadium of Champions. That's always fun to go in there, and I'm sure it's a thrill for those middle school guys to go in there and play at the big stadium over there.
Well, and we were talking about the Hall of Fame class that we've been talking about on the entire show, and you and I actually played with Mark Knipe.
Yeah, we did. We had a softball team called the Tappers years ago. And that's about all we could do was tap the ball back out to the pitcher. And I'll just say that Knipe was a better football player than he was softball player. And I think we should have probably stuck to jacks or something. I don't know.
Well, I think I played second base on that team. That shows you how...
How did y'all come up with that name, Tappers?
I'll have to tell you. I'll tell you off air. It's got another part to it. So that's all we'll say about that.
Well, Pat, you've been talking to Bob on the phone.
Well, he just texted me, and he reminded me, yes, the 97 team was as good as the 98, and he's tuned in and listening, and we appreciate those calls. And I know he's already making arrangements to be here for October the 4th, and it means a lot. I tell you what, it means a lot to these players to go into something this special, and hopefully we can carry this thing on for years to come. And this is such a great football community, and I mean, you can see, you know, just from years past of all the coaches that's been, very few that's been here. I think this is David's, 14th year?
I think that's right. He's got 110 14th. Wins, yeah.
I was here 19 years, blessed to be here, and Coach Clayton 19, and Coach G was 13 or 14. So, I mean, what a community to be able to be part of and coaching.
Well, and you throw in Anthony Hatchell to that group, and that's all the coaches. That's everybody.
Yeah, and I don't think Anthony was here a couple years.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years, and he went into administration, and I think he's still helping Mayfield coach now. I thought I saw him last year.
I think that's right.
Really? He's retired, but both of his boys are on staff, I know, and so he's still involved with football, and it's just a great community.
Talking this morning with Pat Gates, Larry Curling, Will Brown, Caldwell County former football coaches, and Ty Englebright in here on the show. Maybe you guys can talk a little bit about football. We mentioned the 98 team, and football has changed a little bit over the last 20 years. And, of course, the spread is the big thing now, and a lot of teams use that. And, of course, we've had a ton of success the last 10 years or so with that. But what's some of the things you see different now that you guys used to do that you couldn't do or wouldn't do now?
Well, of course, the pace of the game is one thing. I mean, everything is played so fast now, and it's even being incorporated into the NFL. I mean, all aspects of football is fast break on grass, basically, you know, and, you know, there's no huddle. Everything's called at the line of scrimmage now, it seems like, and, I mean, we used to try to shorten the game as much as possible, and because we had so many players going both ways. That's one way that we felt like that we had to save our players, you know, by huddling up. And, you know, I probably had anywhere from 7 to 11 going both ways all my years in coaching here. And, you know, and most of the kids love playing both ways on both sides of the football. And I think this year Caldwell's is a little bit. They've got several kids going both ways. So
I think it's probably the most you've seen.
It's probably
both ways this year.
And we may see some of that slowing the pace of the game down just because of that. But you know, that's one of the things that really sticks out is the pace of the game.
I remember, though, Larry used to love it when you throw the ball all the time, though. Larry loved that. He would tell you to just keep throwing it, keep throwing it.
He loved putting the defense back out there.
The game has changed. Everything we faced back during the 70s, 80s, and 90s was a 3-back set. You just don't see a 3-back set anymore. It's either 0-back or 1-back. And to be honest with you, I'd have a hard time defending it.
And of course now, I think it's required that every school has a play clock. And it's changed this year, right? After the end of the play.
40 seconds now.
It's just 40, so much faster.
40 seconds.
Because we just had to reprogram our clocks.
You know, I know back when we were ahead on some games, we may have took a minute in the huddle. You know, the referees, the back judge is one that's really responsible for
No, back then we had to do math because we'd sit there and say, okay, what time is it now?
How many snaps how many snaps we got to take to end this game to nil it out? But, you know, that aspect of it has changed considerably. And of course, some of the special teams play has changed some. Of course, they're to a rugby punt now, which we didn't see a rugby punt back.
No, unless you were 3 down.
Hey, Coach Hughes was always our punter in practice, you know, and I never seen him. He could punt the football.
He could thump
I'm going to tell you what.
He had a live leg.
Yeah. And he'd work with our punters just constantly. And, of course, we ran in. Stuart Childress was a good punter.
He's a heck of a punter.
Was good.
You know, we had some that we just – a week before the game, you know, we opened up. We just try to have tryouts, I guess, of punters and kickers. But now you see soccer players playing, you know, which we had a few. Dean Sears was probably my first soccer player back in the day. And Dwayne came along a little later than that. But, you know, we utilized that aspect of the kicking game. And so those are a few changes.
Bob Hudson, he's listening. You remember his favorite saying when we went to run the hill? He'd say legs like wooden pegs, thighs like railroad ties, and
hips like battleship.
Hips like battleship.
That was some.
So that's for you. That's for you, Bob.
I guarantee he's digging that. What about today, though? There's kind of a fine line, a gray area when it comes to keeping our young men safe. You know, it's all about, you know, we're tackling more with our head up, and you know, everybody, you know, football has been about, you know, everybody likes the big hit, you know, at that time of the game. But where's that gray area where we keep our young men safe and the controversies around the concussions and all that? Where, you know, how does the game evolve in that respect? You know, I mean, it's still football. We want it to be football, but
well, they're basically taking the head out of the game. You know, you're not supposed to use your head for any contact at all, only your shoulders. But let me just say this, you know, back in the day, everybody wanted that big hit, you know, and everybody got excited by it. You know, they don't do, I don't know if they even do Oklahoma drills anymore.
I don't think
that was one of our, you know, favorite drills to find out who your hitters were, you know. But let me just say this, I've been working in Rydell for the last 11 years, and the equipment is much better today than it's ever been. And, you know, the helmets that we're developing now.
A lot of science and technology.
A lot of technology. Concussion reduction technology has been placed in all these products, and everybody's buying what's best on the market now. And, of course, no helmet is concussion-proof. No. And no shoulder pad is going to prevent you from having a separated shoulder or anything.
No kind of armor you can buy and put underneath you can do that.
Football is a contact sport.
There you go.
And, you know.
But that's why we like it, isn't it?
Yeah. And the collisions, and, I mean, you're going to have them.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes disappointing to see players removed from a game because they made a big hit. And I know it's for all the safety purposes and all. And, of course, they're looking at changing the kicking game even more, taking kickoffs out of the game. And I don't like to see them tamper with it too much.
Right, and that's why I asked it, because sometimes it's the elephant in the white elephant in the room. You know, people kind of want to dance around it, but you know, I love football because it's football. And I, you know, growing up in the 70s, I mean, you know, football was something. I'm talking about at all levels, whether it's college, pro, high school, and you know. Tess and I were talking before you left. She's talking about her son playing middle school. My son played 4 years of high school, and I said, go down and sit on the sidelines. Go down to the sideline, and at the middle school game, and then go to the high school game and see the speed difference, and then do that at a college game and a pro game.
And they've gotten so much bigger and stronger. You know, athletes are just so much quicker, bigger, and stronger.
I mean, that's the thing, is the speed has gotten so much. It's increased so much. I mean, and you talk about guys maybe not trying. That's a split-second reaction on some of these head-to-head shots. I mean, and when the back drops his head, well, you might actually be aiming away, but the back, they're taught to attack as well. I mean, and you get that. So it's an awful tough area to call that. You watch a lot of games, you're like, wait a minute, whoa. That looked a little mutual there, not like a spear or whatever we used to call it back then. But, back when we had those good shut helmets, though, those air bladder helmets, man, those were awesome. I don't think
that's all we had back in the day. When we handed out, and we were just not very knowledgeable. I'll be honest with you. Back in the day when we'd tell a kid, get a helmet, put it on, and, if it looked good on them, they wore it. Now, all these coaches are trained on how to fit a helmet properly and shoulder pads, because it's so essential. There's a lawsuit out there waiting to happen if you don't dot your I's and cross your T's. And of course, Will took care of the equipment a lot for me. It helps having a coach, and I think like Coach Riley, he does a great job now out here at Caldwell, taking care of the equipment and making sure those kids are fitted up. And Murray State, I go to Murray every year, every summer when they start practice, and I fit all their kids, all their players in their helmets and shoulder pads. And matter of fact, I fitted Joby got his before I got there. Joby Jagger.
Yeah.
You get to see a few, local products down there when you do stuff like that. And of course, they went through a change of equipment managers, so they just hired one. But the equipment is so much better now, and the game, again, is a contact game, and I hate to see them tinker with it too much.
Yeah. Well, some of those helmets now are almost like space-age technology. It looks like something the astronauts wore, where you can go in and put air into the helmets and everything to make them fit better.
And, we've got custom-fit helmets now that NFL and colleges are wearing now, where they 3D technology. They've come in and they custom-fit an exact fit for these players this day and time. Yeah. Of course, you're looking at $1,000 for one of those helmets.
Wow. Pat's on his way out to California as soon as this show's over. He's going to get Antonio Brown hooked up.
Yeah, I got a meeting with Antonio Brown here about he's a shut man.
I'm still in awe about.
Now, Tom Brady wears a VSR a VSR4, and he wasn't real happy about going to a different, but he's in our custom fit Speedflex now, and how can you go wrong with that? I've had one of those on myself, and man, you talking about they're a catalog.
You wear that around the house?
No, I don't wear it around the house.
Out mowing the yard.
When they train you, they make you try those things on to see how they feel. But
y'all walk around with those on, just bumping into each other.
It's amazing though. Of what we wore, I couldn't even tell you the brand of helmet I wore back when I played.
McGregor, probably.
I think it was a bike.
Yeah, could have been a bike.
I think it was a bike.
You still got overhead gear in the office.
They've had just Rollins have made helmet. It's just different.
And the technology each and every year just changes. I mean, they're constantly upgrading and changing. But I think mostly you can rest assured, I've talked to all the coaches, and I know Todd has at all levels of our football programs here, from junior pro on up, and they're really teaching our kids to tackle without the head, and as the game evolves. But I think football, it gets some news, some bad raps. There's still some good raps about it, but I think everybody can rest assured that if your kid is playing Caldwell County football, they're being taught right, and everything's being done to keep them safe.
Even back then, though, we were teaching form tackling. I mean, the head back, face up, roll your hips in, lift like that.
And there's an art to it.
And we never were taught, The only thing you'd ever teach to do is put your face on the football. That was about the extent of using your head or face that we ever taught. Everything else was that, and that's your head to the side, not into the sternum. So, we taught that back in the dark ages too.
And now it's taught on all levels, even down on the youth level. Youth Incorporated, they're doing a good job of upgrading all their equipment for all their kids out there, and making sure they're in the proper helmets and show. Those are your two main. Take care of your head and your shoulders. And I tell all these coaches around, everybody wants to look good in these uniforms and the jerseys and the game pants, but invest into your helmets and shoulder pads. That's what's going to keep your players on the field longer.
Talking a lot of football this morning with Pat Gates, Larry Curling, and Will Brown. Ty Englebright in the studio with us this morning as well. Got to get to another break here on the Sideline Report, but we'll continue after this on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast calling for sunshine today with a high near 87. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 65. Now tomorrow, partly sunny, high near 88. And then on Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 93. Again, sunshine today with a high near 87.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Great Wall Chinese Restaurant.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors & More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors & More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. Quality brands, excellent customer service, combined with 40 years experience is why they say you can walk on our reputation. See Bill and Lucy at Perry's Floors & More, 127 West Market Street, Princeton.
Get into shape and feel good at Trilogy Performance Sports. Trilogy is a family-friendly environment that offers a wide range of classes to reach your fitness and well-being goals. Whether you're into yoga, gymnastics, sports training, team training, cardio, kickboxing, or weightlifting, Trilogy has something for the whole family. Family discounts available, and your first 2 weeks are free. Located in Princeton behind Cash Express. Be better than you used to be at Trilogy Performance Sports.
Back on the Sideline Report on 1580 103.3 WPKY. Again, lots of football talk this morning. We've got Pat Gates, Larry Curling, Will Brown in the studio with us. WPKY's own Ty Englebright sitting in here with us. Caldwell County football team headed to Hopkins Central on Friday for more scrimmage action, playing Hopkins Central and Ohio County. That's now been moved to 7 o'clock, so make note of that. It was originally 6, but it's now 7 for the scrimmage. And Pat, when you play these scrimmages, what kind of good does a coach see out of a scrimmage?
Well, actually, you're just trying to mold your team together and, try to line up probably pretty vanilla at this time of the year and just going against other competition to see how we line up and get something out of who's going to shy away from contact, who's not going to. And, you try to learn some aspects of your football team that you can hopefully improve on, and you hope that they bring out weaknesses for you so you know what you need to work on. And but pretty much vanilla. I'd say they're going to probably run a base defense, and their offense is pretty much going to be basic plays, and then you start moving toward next week when it all starts to count for the first game. But still, the early portion of your season in football is really preparing for your district and getting your kids ready and making sure they're good and healthy. And you don't want to lose anyone to an injury or any situation like that. But you just want to get a good look at all your players to see how they're going to perform in competition.
Caldwell County opens the regular season next week with Christian County, and Pat, I believe you had a look at Christian County scrimmage last week.
I did, and I think they're fairly young from talking to Coach Lovelace and all, and he's got a young quarterback, an Abrams kid. He's a pretty good athlete. I think he was in school here at one time several years ago.
Yeah.
Tate was telling me he went to the school with him, and defensively they look pretty sound. They had some weaknesses in the secondary that Logan County exploited, and they threw the ball deep on them several times, and I know Coach Lovelace wasn't very happy with that, but they got good athletes. You can tell that they've got sound, a lot of speed, and but they looks like in experience. I think he said he had 18 or 19 seniors last year, and of course we had we lost over 20, I know. Right. So I think it's the makings of a good football game, especially opening game out here.
Yeah, Caldwell County with a small senior class this year. Of course, they lost a couple of kids that were freshmen that are no longer with us, and that kind of hurt the team. But I think when you watched them over at Madisonville, when it was ones against ones, Caldwell County matched up really well against a Madisonville team.
They did.
That's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, I watched just a little bit of film with Aaron McClung the other day, and we held our own against them. I mean, we did. And they had some size. They had that big old running back, and he really didn't hurt us that bad. I mean, like you said, ones on ones, it was competitive. It was a competitive game. It looked like.
Now, pretty clear, Madisonville had us on depth. I think if the two teams played a real game, it would probably be a close game. The depth would definitely help Madisonville, but again, I thought Caldwell looked pretty good. I was actually encouraged after watching that scrimmage, and again, you try to temper expectations over a scrimmage because neither team's going to do in a scrimmage what they would do if it was an actual game, but I think that was a good first showing for the Tigers, and I think that first game against Christian County is going to be a good one.
I do too, and of course I think, even though Christian County is a 5A school, we've done well against them over the past several years, and our kids like to play against Christian County, better competition. We play a very demanding schedule, and that only helps you, get ready for your district games. And of course, we're going into a pretty tough district. Everybody thinks, well, you're going from 3A to 2A again. Well, 2A is pretty rock solid. When you got Mayfield in there, and you got Murray High. Murray's going to, from what I hear, Murray's going to have a good football team, and you still got some of your other opponents. I think is Fort Campbell in our district still,
Ballard,
and so it's going to be a competitive district, and we want to make sure we keep our kids healthy so that and improve each week, and that's what happens with the young team. You never know at the beginning of the season what to expect unless you've got a bunch of returners coming, and that's what makes football exciting because you never know what you got. It's kind of like opening that box of chocolates. and you never know what you're going to get.
Remind me of Forrest Gump a little bit.
Yeah, but it should be an exciting year. This is an exciting time of the year. Of course, school started yesterday, and you want to get off to a great school year, and football kind of sets the tone for your school year, and I know the student body's excited, and as well as the community members here.
The bad thing about Murray being back on the schedule is they were actually down for about 4 years.
Yeah.
The 4 years we didn't play them.
Exactly.
Right. And now they're good again, so hey, they're back on the schedule. But that Hoptown game's going to be a tough one. The Mayfield game obviously will be a tough one.
And I'm sure Apollo, the second game, they're a solid. I know they played some good football last year, and one of my former buddies, Scotty Vance, is on that staff over there, so he's running the offense. So I'm sure that they'll be a great challenge for us. And
Trigg County and Crittenden County are just kind of licking their chops, just waiting for Caldwell County to be kind of down one year for them to get back on the right side on those series.
Yeah, and I hadn't heard a lot about Crittenden County, but it seems like they got several kids returning from last year. I know they lost their quarterback, but they've got a lot of kids returning. And Trigg County, I think, are expecting big things. And they've kind of upgraded their staff. They got Rusty Goebel now running their offense. And
they look good in 7-on-7 over at Hopkinsville.
Yeah, and I don't know how they did their first scrimmage or anything, but
I think they scrimmaged McLean County, and it was pretty close. I don't remember which way it went, so –
those scrimmages can be deceiving somewhat, especially when you go 10-10, and you almost need game situations to get a better feel. And probably this week, normally your second scrimmage, you get more down and distance and game situation type of play.
Well, and another thing with that, with 7-on-7, there's no blocking, there's no tackling, and I always say in football, if you want to be a better football team, block better, tackle better. It doesn't matter what system you're running or anything. Just if you want to get better, do those two things, and you're going to be a better team.
Football really hadn't changed. Yeah. I mean, it comes down to fundamentals.
That's right.
Blocking, tackling, running, catching, throwing. I mean, those are the basic skills you got to master. And, even though that the game has changed and the techniques have changed and how to master all these fundamentals, the game really hadn't changed. And, it goes back to when you tee that ball up, it's between the lines and who's the better guy. And, you try to gear your team toward that.
Again, we want to mention the Hall of Fame inductees for this year, the newest class. It's Cameron Williams, Will Barnes, Bob Hudson, Chad Lane, Mark Knipe, and Gary Goodacre, and they will be honored. Hall of Famers recognized October 4th at Tiger Stadium against Mayfield. That will be a big night. The Mayfield game always draws a big crowd. It doesn't matter what kind of record Caldwell County has, because I've seen a couple of Caldwell County teams that didn't have that great a record but beat Mayfield.
Yeah, that's right. And, of course, you know, they always have a really nice induction ceremony for inductees, and they'll probably have something before the game over in the field house for them and their families and all this, you know, supporters to come over and congratulate them. And we're looking for a big turnout. And hopefully, I think, Larry, you got one more saying that Bob just texted me.
Yeah, we got to hear that.
Yeah, he texted me one more that you used to say.
I don't remember saying that. That's a new. That hill was as nice as rice and a cup of ice. I don't remember that one.
They were wanting ice after that hill.
I'm still in all about concussion reduction.
Impressive.
Yeah. But I do want to say congratulations to those players. I didn't have the opportunity to coach Cameron and Will, but I did Bob and Chad and Mark, and they're very
quality individuals.
Yeah, they are. And Gary had been there for years. He's keeps the stats, and he is one mathematician. Yes, I remember him in school very well. But Bob and Chad, Bob was a big guy. You know, he's about 6'5", 280 back then, and that was big. You know, y'all were talking about players back when we played. If you had a 250-pound guy, that was big in college. You know, nowadays 250 is considered small. That's why it's gotten so much dangerous.
And, you know, you talk about Gary Goodacre. Gary's been around for, and I told Todd this, I said, sometimes I didn't feel comfortable getting in a conversation with him because he's so intelligent. I mean, he knew everything, every stat, and you know, and of course, you know, we brought up about Ralph Sharp, how we're going to miss him this year. Sure. You know, and
but I always heard Gary Goodacre was like the Dennis Rodman of Fredonia basketball league.
Yeah, he
I
could
heard
be a
he was
little rough.
A rebounding machine, though. That's all I ever heard.
And then throw Chris George into that group. You know, those three have been together along with Ralph, and I'm telling you. We're going to miss seeing Ralph down on that sideline this year, and you know, God bless him. He's meant so much to Caldwell County. What a beautiful tribute they made out here at the high school, I think a couple of weeks ago, and you know, he's going to be dearly and sorely missed.
Well, I'll just say Caldwell County is about tradition, and the football tradition is so deep, and can't thank you guys enough. It's awesome that you guys are here and get to name these fine players that have been on the gridiron here, and of course the dedication you guys to these young men and forming them not only on the field but in their lives. And you said earlier, Pat, it takes a lot of time behind the scenes, just not on the Friday night. So you guys have put in a lot of time and effort, and that can't be thanked enough for the impact on Caldwell County football. So thanks all to you all as well.
Well, we appreciate that, and you know, they're. And I know I can speak for all of them. They're like sons to us. I mean, it's the relationships that you build that last a lifetime. And even to run into some of them this day and time and they still call you coach, that's something special. And we appreciate it. And I'm indebted to this community for giving me that opportunity. And I know these guys feel the same way.
Feel the same way, and also this radio station. It means so much to this community. What it does, you know, it's local, and it keeps it local. That's what's important. Always covering the ball games, any event, so we really appreciate that.
And, you know, to go back to this list, too, I think that's a key thing. All great players, but all great individuals, people of character.
And good students.
And good students, you know, and that's the one thing. You go back to the 98 championship, how were we able to do what we did? They were smart. They were intelligent. They studied inside, in the classroom, on the football field. And it's like Coach Gates, I remember saying several times, he doesn't remember in his 2 state championships making one tackle, throwing one pass, making one run. You know, it's the quality of the kids that we have out there that makes the difference, and that's one of the best things Coach Gates, I think, of all the great things Coach Gates has said, that's actually one of the best. I'll say that, and I do remember that very clearly when he said that. And these guys epitomize that.
That does make a difference. You could put together a scouting report on a weekend and give it to them that weekend on a Sunday, and Monday they'd have it down. They would know tendencies in our game plan. They would have it down.
We couldn't even get the film, you know, copied fast enough for them to want them, you know, and we made copies for about every player on team. They bought their own tape, and of course this was back in the
tape days.
Thank
Yeah.
Marty Pressler for that. Marty Pressler allowed me to use the library, and she had it set up for me. She even ran a bunch of copies for us, but that helped tremendously.
And that was an all weekend process.
It was.
It took forever to get the scouting
But it
report
was
out.
worth it. It paid off in the, in the long run. And
It's just not something you do for 2 hours after school.
Right.
You spend the whole weekend getting ready for a ball game.
Yeah.
It's just a long process.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming in today, and thanks so much for your help, because you guys have been helping me for a long, long time, and I really appreciate it.
Well, you're the best, buddy.
You're the
Thank
best.
No doubt about it.
We look forward to
Todd's
getting
the
the
best.
insert in the paper this coming week for the preview. That's a joke. No, we're going to miss that, too. We missed the
Kind of left me speechless there, Ty. But
I like the space effect team picture. Those are interesting.
there you go.
Again, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for your coverage.
Y'all have
Yeah.
a wonderful day. We can't thank you enough for being here, and just have a fantastic year, but I know you will anyway.
Can't wait
It's
till
an
next
honor.
Friday night to be sitting
That's
up
gonna be
and
fun.
hopefully this weather is going to cooperate and be nice and fall-like and a beautiful evening, and we'll pack Tiger Stadium.
You know
Yeah.
it. That's
Yes,
going to
sir.
wrap us up. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank
that's
y'all.
Pat Gates, Larry Curling, Will Brown, Ty Englebright. Thanks for coming in today, and we'll do the top 5 next week.
We'll carry it over.
It's our top. It's our favorite TV characters of all time. So
Characters, though, not the real actors, just characters. The characters.
So if you want to come back next week, you can.
There you go.
I'll text in like I usually do.
All right.
There you go. Thank you, gentlemen.
See y'all.
That's going to wrap up the Sideline Report. This is Todd Griffin of WPKY Radio and YourSportsEdge.com. Again, thanks to everybody for joining us today. Thanks for listening. This is the Sideline Report on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Serving Caldwell County since 1950. We're 1580 103.3 WPKY Princeton.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. All 6 police officers shot during a standoff in Philadelphia are out of the hospital now. The suspect walked out of the home with his hands up more than 7 hours after he started shooting when officers arrived to make drug arrests.
They did an outstanding job. I can't imagine them being able to do it any better.
Philadelphia Police Commissioner Richard Ross. There's a report that Jeffrey Epstein's autopsy